Well, hello, my name is Jennifer Brodie and I'm here to tell you about Remin volcanic rock dust. I've been working with this product for 10 years now, and the results I've seen with gardening, with horticulture and with farming have been really exciting. So I'm taking this opportunity to tell you all about it. Now, the proof of the pudding is, am I practicing as I preach? And you'll see here, I've got my raised bed, absolutely cracker of a raised bed, and I'm going to pick some beetroot. These are beetroots that have grown through the course of this year. Nice healthy beetroot, just first time out of the soil. Yep, that's my beetroot. Okay, nothing wrong with them. Next to them we've got some carrots, absolute crackers of carrots. Oh, there we go. Now look, how is that for one handful of carrots? Do I not have good cause to be proud of my carrots? No, absolutely super. We'll see how we get on with the parsnips. Okie doke, come on Mr. Parsnip. It's good, yes, you'll do nicely. Oh boy, burst a blood vessel in the process. There we go, 2 nice parsnips, if they'll come free with me. Look at that, would you not be proud to grow them? So these have grown in this raised bed. It's a wood blocks raised bed that I would put in the start of the year, and it has been quite phenomenal because between these rows of the parsnips I was growing lettuce earlier in the year, and you'll see here my lettuce, that was the young plants earlier this year, and they grew so big that one lettuce would fill the draining board. So I've been very pleased indeed with the results I've had this year with the raised bed. So why am I getting such good soil? And it is thanks to this Remin volcanic rock dust. Now I've got some examples here to tell you about, because it's not just my success with the rock dust. As I say, I've been using it for 10 years and I'd like to run through a few examples with you. Here's an example, a vegetable garden. I stay on Royal Deeside, and this is a good gentleman, stays likewise. He knocked down a building and he wanted to make a garden where the building used to be. And he had tried everything. He tried manure, he tried lime, and he tried the rock dust, and he could not, the volcanic rock dust, and he could not believe the difference that it made. An important point I want to make on the video, that the volcanic rock dust is equally good for flowers. This is an example of where I was at the Garden of Scotland, and a couple came on the stand and said they couldn't get their garden to grow at all. They were on classic builder soil. A light covering of soil had been put on the garden, and they were gardeners, they wanted the garden to grow. So just like Ed up here, they tried all the different plant food. Now they tried the rock dust, and they took 6 bags away from the show, and they came back on the stand the following year and they said their garden just exploded, just burst into life. So that's one good example, a couple of good examples. Now this one's particularly interesting. This is down in Herefordshire, and it's a farmer who had a pig farm, and he also did a box system with his vegetables. But he sold off his pigs, but he found his vegetables were just not half as good without the pig manure. And he looked up and found on the website about the volcanic rock dust, and he applied it, and he said it took a few years, but the soil got back up to where it was thanks to the Remin volcanic rock dust. And you'll see the flexi spreader that he's using it for big areas. There are various types of spreaders can be used. Lime spreader is good, but he found this on good old eBay and he was able to use this one. So that's Arkstone Mill, you'll find them on the web. The next one, oh yes, this whatever comes up. This is a beauty. This is an allotment group, the Regatta Lane allotments, who just raved about the rock dust. So I asked whether they would go round each of their growers and each of their allotmenteers and tell me what difference they were seeing, and I can see the results here. The best bedding plants I've ever had. My onions and shallots and garlic were much bigger, and there was a reduction in white rot. Now that's a particularly interesting point that I'm finding with the rock dust. Plants are more and more pest resistant. They're healthier, like when we're healthier, we're resistant to pests and diseases. Runner beans cropped really well this year. First year my cauliflower has not had stem rot, and the size was great. I potted half my sweet corn in compost and rock dust and half just in compost. Now the compost and the rock dust plants were twice the size of the compost only. So there again, the rock dust made the difference. And then last, which I really love, the most economic product I've ever purchased. So it's not going to cost the earth. Now here's another one, again local to home. This is a raspberry grower, and he tried rock dust at the start of the year. And at the end of that year, I phoned and said, Grant, how did you get on with that rock dust? And he says to me, oh, Jennifer, it was a con. It was just a pure con. And of course, my heart fell. However, the following spring, he phoned, he says, Jennifer, you better come and have a look at this. And I went to see him, and he said, you can see it from the car. The rows that had the rock dust, the rows that hadn't had the rock dust were, oh God, it's not time to get up yet. And they were leaning each way. And the rows that had the rock dust were bolt upright and good to go. And I took both of these photographs on the same day. Now at that point I thought, wow, this is going to be an easy sell. But what I didn't realise then is that if you're growing for one of the main chains, you do what the agronomists say. So I've got a job to do, and I am making progress to convince the agronomists to recommend the rock dust, because it does make a difference. But like I say, I'm making progress. Oh yeah, that's a lovely couple. We're finding the rock dust will do things that are quite unexpected. Things like the flavour is better, the more pest resistance. Now here was a lady who tried the rock dust on her peace lily, and it had never flowered for 5 years. And do you know, it flowered within a fortnight of her applying the rock dust. Now I didn't get that story till 5 months later, and she says, Jennifer, it's still flowering and it's never looked healthier. Now here's another one. Again, this is local to Bankery. This was a lady with the laburnum tree, Shirley's laburnum tree, and it had never flowered. And she says, right, one autumn, she says, right, you've got one last chance. I'm going to give you a bag of rock dust. And it was a small bag, it was a couple of kilograms of rock dust. And if you flower in the spring, you're saved. If you don't, then you're away. And the rock dust, the tree must have heard. And she had the fabulous, fabulous flowering with the laburnums. And also, so far as export's concerned, it's being popular in Slovenia. And I chose this picture in particular because Slovenia are very much into their pumpkins, and this is actually a vine pumpkin. But yeah, it is getting exported with good effect to Slovenia. And also a grower in Mallorca, the island of Mallorca. There's this gorgeous wee lass with the aubergines, big success there. So what we have to work out is, what is the difference? What is this rock dust doing that makes the difference? And is this word volcanic rock dust. Anywhere in the world with volcanic soil, and by volcanic soil I mean soil that is close to recent volcanic activity, is known to be really rich. And examples here are in Lanzarote. The Canary Islands are very popular, and the vines are growing out of the actual volcanic lava, and they're really strong and really rich. The wine's really tasty thanks to the minerals and trace elements. In Sicily, the farmers refuse to leave the slopes of the erupting Mount Etna because they know they're going to get a better production from that volcanic soil. You may be wondering what I'm meaning by volcanic rock in Scotland. Well, the good news is there hasn't been a volcano in the last few months that you've missed. What we're talking about is very ancient rock. And here's a history, the Earth's history. And the rock that we're using for Remin volcanic rock dust is between 420 million years old and 300 million years old. When this rock came onto planet Earth, there wasn't even vertebrate life on the planet. And until it's been mined and crushed and exposed to the air, it's the first time it's appeared on planet Earth as opened up via the quarry. So, what's in this volcanic rock dust that is so important? Well, to explain that, what I've got here is the periodic table. Do you remember that from the school? Or are you getting it in school? Everything on planet Earth can be broken down into what's in this table. If you can find something in this world that's not composed of one of the components in this table, then you've made science. Now, rock dust has got 2/3 of all the elements are in periodic table are in rock dust. To understand where the minerals and trace elements fit into the soil, and we can see the soil is broken down into 5 categories: air, Good soil is 25% air, water, decayed organic material, that's the brown stuff, an awful lot of science in the brown stuff, the living organisms, everything from the bacteria to the worms, and then the smallest one, the pinky, is the minerals and trace elements. Now every time you take a crop out of the soil, a tiny but critical percentage of that crop is actually minerals and trace elements. And if each year you're taking them out and taking them out and not putting them back, then the soil is bound to be getting short of them. Most plant food only puts in N, P and K, nitrogen, phosphate and potassium. Now there's no nitrogen in the Remin volcanic rock dust, but there is food for the nitrogen nutrients, for the nitrogen fixing bacteria. But the point here is, the most important point of the video, is when you're adding the Remin volcanic rock dust, you're adding all of the minerals and trace elements required for healthy growth. So they get a nutritious, holistic feed of all the elements and nutrients that they need. So let's consider, how do these minerals get into the soil? And to understand that, we've got to look at the geology of Scotland. And I've got here a simplified geological map of Scotland, and it is simplified. Geology is a very complex subject. I did zoology at Aberdeen University, and it's the living organisms, finger number 4, that I know most about. But I do think there needs to be more of a linkage between the different sciences to link geology to farming, to horticulture and to gardening could be of great benefit. However, looking at the geological map of Scotland, most of the north of Scotland is made up of a granite type rock that has got a low mineral chemical composition. And the south part of Scotland was mostly underlaid by sand, sandstone, which once again has got a limited chemical composition. There aren't many minerals and trace elements in it. Now the rock that we've selected for Remin volcanic rock dust is basalt volcanic rock, and it is very rich in the minerals and trace elements. And this is where you've got volcanic soil, you've got really rich soil, this is where the minerals come from. So if we can apply this crushed rock to the earth, the other soils, that's when we begin to see the benefits. I've heard it said, and I've seen it on YouTube, where people say that rock dust, oh, it's just sand. Well, that is so fundamentally wrong. We've got sand here, made from this sandstone, and it's been analysed, it doesn't have the minerals and trace elements in. Here we've got the basalt, the lump of basalt rock, and it's got all the minerals and trace elements. So please never let anyone get away with saying rock dust, it's just sand, because it isn't. Like I say, I've been working with Remin volcanic rock dust now for 10 years, and the more I learn, the more I love the wisdom of the ancients. Do you know that in 350 BC, Aristotle told us that worms are the intestines of the soil? That's so important, linking those last two fingers, the living organisms and the micronutrients, these two working together. There's so much more we need to learn about that. Now there's another one that I love, and this is J. von Liebig. He's the father of the fertilizer industry, and he told us the yield of the crop is limited by the nutrient in shortest supply. By that he means you could have everything in your soil, but it's not working. There's a leak, something's not right. So when you add the rock dust, you're adding all of the minerals and trace elements that are required. The plant finds what it wants and it makes the results. If you remember those two early testimonials where the garden that wouldn't grow, they'd given everything to it, the flower bed that wouldn't grow, added the rock dust and it just burst into life. There was something missing, it was in the rock dust, and that's what made the difference. And there we go, let's get the wisdom of J. von Liebig, 1803 to 1873. Remin volcanic rock dust comes in several sizes for gardening. You can get 450 gram sachets, which is for pot plants, etc., window boxes, hanging baskets, and then there's the 10 kilogram bag and the 20 kilogram bag. Now for the application rate, you'll find these on the leaflet and also on the back of the bags. It's very straightforward. Its main use is as a top dressing for the soil and compost, and that is 0.5 kilogram per square metre is the minimum dose, the annual minimum dose, and this can go up to 2 kilograms per square metre. Now the raised bed that I'm sitting on is 2 metres wide by 5 meters long, which makes it 10 square meters. And I gave it the booster dose. I gave it the 20 kilograms for this one raised bed. So it was one of these 20 kilogram bags or 2 of the 10 kilogram bags. Now for larger uses, horticulture, it can come in half-ton bags or 1-ton bags. It also comes in bulk loads for farming, 29 tons, up to 29 tons as a bulk load for pastures and fields and crops, etc. Right, Remin volcanic rock dust is really good for composting. So welcome to my compost heap. I gave my raised bed a good haircut, ready for the filming, so I've got a lot of compost to go on. So it's very straightforward. I just add this compost, well, this garden waste, shall we call it, onto the heap, and then you get some rock dust. Each time you add the compost, the dead weight, sprinkle it on, the rain will wash it in, just a couple of handfuls. Now this will speed up the composting process because remember you're feeding the engines of the soil, everything from the bacteria to the worms. They love this stuff, helps break them down, and at the end of the day you've got more mineral rich compost. Well, welcome to my wormery that I keep in the back shed here. See what's happening inside here. It always amazes me how everything grows in this wormery. I've got an avocado seed here that's sprouted, and I find even bits of cabbage leaf are actually sprout roots because this is the ultimate. It's got the rock dust and it's got the bugs, the worms of course, working together, breaking down the product and making a really healthy growing environment. So what I do on a fortnightly basis, this is the kitchen waste, just pretty standard potato peelings, tea leaves. There's a bit of mango there, grated mango, banana. I think they love banana skin. I sprinkle that onto the top. This is their next food. I do half at a time, and in a fortnight I'll do the other half. I think I'm going to put a bit more. Yeah, that's it. Eggshells. They love eggshells and peas. I've had a really good pea harvest this year. Okay, break down the eggshells a little bit. Okay, and then I can take the gloves off. I will put a sprinkle of the rock dust on the top of this, and I assure you the worms just love it. Sprinkle it over, just a light dressing onto the top, and then I add the water. Now, if you find that your water is very chemical rich, what comes out the tap, if it smells of chemicals, just leave it sitting overnight so the chemicals have managed to evaporate off, and then just give it a light water in, just like it's been a shower of rain, and that's you've got your wormery remineralized. And of course any excess water will collect in the collection basin underneath. So that's my worm family, and I'll be visiting again. Another couple of weeks should do it, and it's remineralized. So there you go guys. I'll put you back in the dark as you like to be. That's us. Well, I hope you now better understand my strapline. Remin volcanic rock dust regenerates tired soil. So give it a go, for goodness sake. In my 10 years with volcanic rock dust, 2 books have helped me begin to understand the soil's incredible jigsaw. The first book is Nature's Building Blocks, an A to Z Guide to the Elements by John Emsley. It covers each element in the periodic table and provides an easy to understand description that helps so much with the 5th finger, the minerals and trace elements. The second book is Teeming with Microbes, a guide to the soil food web by Jeff Lowenfels and Wayne Lewis. This amazing, easy to read book explains why the 4th finger, the living organisms, are so important to healthy soil and why they've been overlooked for so long.